And now it's time to preview an upcoming game with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at another Kickstarter preview video. This time we're going to look at Pig Farmer, which is a Euro game combining resource management, area control, and a little bit of hidden goal mechanisms in order to make the whole deal. So real quick, before I get into it too much, why don't we just go ahead and take a look at what comes with the game. I want to give you the usual quick reminder that these are prototype quality components, not final quality components. Then we'll go ahead and see how the game plays, and then we'll come back here at the end and I'll sum it all up for you. So here you can see the components for Pig Farmer set up for a 4-player game. Now this is a game where you are trying to manage your pigs, you're trying to explore the land, spread out your pigs, have more pigs, and manage the feelings of those pigs. Pigs have feelings for love, playtime, and safety, and these feelings will fluctuate based on what you do in the game. For example, love will go up or down if your pigs die, down, or if you get more pigs, love will go up. Towards the positive way here, and depending on where those are at, on your turn you may get benefits or detriments for that. For example, if your love is maximized, you're going to get a gold or a resource at the start of each of your turns, whereas if it's at the bottom, you're going to lose a gold or a resource at the start of each of your turns. You have playtime, which is going to be based on your pigs not moving. Your pigs are lazy and they don't want to move. So if you manage to get playtime up, which will happen if you don't move your pigs, you're going to get a free card every turn. Whereas if you have it all the way down, you're going to lose a card every turn. You're moving your pigs too much and they don't like it. Finally, you have safety, and this is going to go up automatically each round, but will go down when you get attacked. So for example, if you don't manage to get attacked and you get to go up each round, it's going to be easier for your pigs to have babies during the spring. However, if it's all the way down, you won't be able to have babies, so you want to keep your pigs safe in order to have them multiply. Each player starts the game with these 3 feelings or these 3 attributes at 0 or at neutral, and they'll go up and down as the game progresses. In addition, you're going to start with 4 pigs on your farm and your farmer here, who is going to give you benefits throughout the game dependent on where he's at. In addition, each player is going to start with a goal card. Now these goal cards are going to be how you win the game. You're trying to get a maximum number of awards in order to end the game. Usually this is set at 5 for your starting game. And you'll see here, it has on here, that you must collect 1 leather, 1 food, 1 material, and 2 bacon, and then you can turn this in to gain 1 award, giving you essentially 1/5 of the points you're going to need, or 1/5 of the awards you're going to need to end the game, but not necessarily win. So this will be a secret goal, and each player will have 1 of these goals in their hand. In addition, each player is going to start the game with 3 action cards. You'll see them here, and they're going to give you basically different things you can do on your turn as a free action. So for example, this one here says, turn that smile upside down. And it says here that the player who plays this card may roll the growl die, which is this die here, just a basic d6, and dependent on that value, they're going to subtract 1 from whatever they roll, and they're going to lower the target's happiness tracks, these 3 tracks that I showed you earlier, by whatever that value is after the modification. And you get to increase that by 1 if you laugh maliciously, so just a little bit of fun added into the game. These cards will be varied, so for example, I'd like that please. Look at a target opponent's hand and choose 1 card to place into your hand. It allows you to steal a card from them. So these cards are going to have different effects on other players or give you various bonuses throughout the game. Each player is also going to start the game with various resources. We'll see here that I have 5 money, I have a ham, I have some food, which is indicated by the silverware here, and I have a hide or some leather here. But there are also resources like bacon and materials that you can use throughout the game to accomplish various goals. Now there's also a shared goal area here where there are 3 goals face up that can be manipulated or accomplished throughout the game in order to get the awards you need to end the game. As again, as said, 5 to end the game in the basic game, but you can adjust that depending on how long you want the game to be. So, the game takes place over years, and each year is broken up into 4 seasons. Of course, those are spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each of these seasons will have a slightly different game effect. In spring, for example, at the start of each spring, there's going to be a pig bonanza, and you're going to check and see who has the most pigs. If there's a tie, there's a tiebreaker for that, but basically, whoever has the most pigs is going to get an award in the form of 1 resource, 1 gold, or 1 card, and you're going to get to choose one of those 3 things, either a card from the action pile, a resource from over here, or a gold. Now this doesn't happen in the first year because everyone will have the same number of pigs, but in future years, when you get through all of the seasons, this will take place. After that, it's going to start a player's turn. And at the start of a player's turn, if their farmer is on their farm, they get to choose any 1 resource, not including gold or pigs, that they'd like from the supply. Essentially, the farmer's working overtime on the farm, and you get a resource as a reward for that. After that, in spring, you're going to roll the growl die for each pair of pigs you have on a space. So for example, let's take a look at green. He's got 4 pigs. We're going to roll this growl die twice, and on a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we're going to get a new pig. So I rolled a 2, I get a new pig. I roll again, and I get a 5, no pig that time. So I now have 5 pigs on a space, which is 1 more than the maximum number allowed at the end of a turn. I'll need to move him somewhere in order to kind of protect him, or else he'll die at the end of my turn. Now that we've taken care of that, and each player would do this on their own individual turns, we're going to move on to the actual turn structure. On each player's outline here, you'll see that they have several yellow actions and several green actions. Green actions are the standard actions, the actions that you may take 2 of on your turn. So for example, you can battle and move, draw 2 cards, explore land, play the market, change your quest, gain 1 resource, or pass. And I'll cover all of these very briefly. First, let's go over draw 2 cards. If you wanted, you may draw 2 cards from this action deck to have more actions that you can play on your turn. So this is just a way to get more cards into your hand, but note that you only get 3 of these at the end of the round. You'll have to discard down. We've already kind of covered what those cards do. You may explore land. As you see here, we have our 4 farms in the corners of this area, but all of the other areas are face down. What you can do here is you may pay 1 gold to explore any of the adjacent lands. Not diagonally, but you may pay 1 gold to explore any of these lands. So let's say our player here wanted to pay 1. They would get 4 back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would be able to explore maybe this land right here, flipping it over. Once they've done so, they may move any of their adjacent pigs into that land. So maybe they move 2 from here to here. These pigs are now not over 4, and we have 2 in this area that could reproduce in the next spring if they were still there. So that is how the explore action will work. Note that now that my pigs have moved, I'm going to lose out on a bonus that I would get if none of my pigs were to move on a turn. And that is a playtime bonus. If at the end of my turn none of my pigs have moved, I'll automatically gain 1 playtime, in addition to the 1 safety that I automatically gain each turn. But now that they've moved, I won't get that. The next action would be playing the market, and the market is over here. It's an area where you can buy and sell the various resources in the game. When you go, you may sell 1 type of resource and buy another type of resource. So for example, if I wanted, I could sell bacon. I don't actually have any, so let's say I sell ham, and I want to sell 1 ham. I'm going to get $2 and then adjust this down by 1. So I would gain $2, adding that to my supply. Note that I couldn't have sold any more than 2 ham because there's only 2 spaces here for the track to go down. Now that I've sold ham, I can't buy any ham, so I would look and see if I wanted to buy anything, and maybe I would like to buy some bacon. So I decide to pay that 2 money I just got and buy 1 bacon from the supply, and maybe I'm working towards one of my goals, either my private one or the one I have out here in public. So now that you've seen playing the market, let's take a look at changing quests. Maybe I don't like the quest that's in my hand. I'm nowhere near it, and I think I can get a much better or much easier quest to complete. I could discard this card, putting it next to the discard pile here, and I could take a new goal into my hand, replacing that one, and hopefully getting a better one. Or perhaps I think that somebody else is too close to accomplishing one of the goals in the center. I could discard one of these goals from here and replace it from one from the pile so that they can no longer complete one of the goals. Now we have gain 1 resource, which is pretty straightforward. I can simply take any one of the resources from the supply and put it into my own area. But note that you can only take each one of these actions each turn, so that's not necessarily the best way of acquiring resources. You may pass, of course, but then we can go over and take a look at moving and battling. Moving is not the same as exploring. When I reveal a new tile, this is not the primary way of moving my pigs. What I can do is I can move any number of pigs I want from one area to another, but for each pig that I move, I'm going to lose some playtime likely. So, if I move pigs from one area to another, and it's an area that I already control, meaning I'm the only person there, I'm going to lose 1 playtime, but this will only happen once per round. However, for example, if these were to be revealed, let's just take a look here, and I were to have an enemy pig here, if I were to move from here to here, I would also lose a playtime. For each person's thing that I invade, I'm going to lose 1 playtime. So if I were to invade 2 different areas with yellow, I'd lose 2 playtime, moving down on this track, and of course angering my pigs, and potentially risking having to discard a card at the beginning of each of my turns. In addition to moving my pigs, I may also move my farmer away from my farm as long as the area he's moving into has at least 1 pig in it. So, he can never be alone without pigs, and if he is, he just disappears from the board, he's lost, and you have to pay 3 gold to recover him later back at your farm. Also note that moving him away from the farm is going to cause you to not get a resource at the start of each of your turns because he's no longer working that farm. So, he's also going to kind of move, hoping to provide support to the pig when he gets into a combat. And we'll cover combat in just a moment. Now note, there are also these free actions up at the top, the yellow ones. The green ones below are standard. They're things that you can only take 2 of each turn, and they must be different. But the ones up top are essentially basic or free actions. You may take as many of them as you want, you may repeat them, and they don't count towards your normal action requirements or supply. So, we have play cards, and I showed you the action cards. You may play these cards from your hand. You want to play them because at the end of each round you can only carry 3 over, and they're going to give you various benefits towards either detrimenting your opponent or helping you reach your goals. So you'll want to play those. You may also sell your cards. If you have a bunch of extra because you drew some and some you don't want, you can sell them at a value of 3 cards for 1 gold. You may harvest your pigs, and this is a good way to get resources, but it's a bad way to keep your pigs in a method where they love you. So if you want your pigs to like you, you're not going to want to harvest them, but if you need resources, you may as well slaughter them off. You can kill as many pigs as you like in order to take 1 resource for each pig that you kill. But each time you kill a pig, you're going to lose love. And losing love will, of course, lose you either gold or resources at the start of your turn if you're all the way at the negative. You may also fulfill a goal. Of course, that's the point of the game. Fulfilling a goal, once you've accomplished it, is not an action that you have to take as a standard action. It's a basic action that you can take for free. You simply return the resources where it says collect whatever resources you need to collect, and then you're going to play the goal to the table. Sometimes goals will have various other things, like, invade someone's farm or do something else. When you do these things, you'll still need to take the fulfill a goal action, but you won't turn anything in, and you'll simply move up on the awards track for each goal that you complete. Finally, we have buy and upgrade, and you'll see that I have this deck of cards up here that I haven't covered yet. These are farm upgrades. They're going to help you throughout the game accomplish various things. In addition, having farm upgrades will be worth victory points at the end of the game. But you'll see on them they have a cost printed, 2 gold and 1 material, and then they have a benefit beneath that. You may spend 2 gold on each of your turns in order to increase your playtime by 1. So maybe you're moving your pigs around a lot. This would be a good thing in order to spend some gold to keep their playtime up. Other benefits, or other farm upgrades, will benefit you in other ways, helping you to win the game. When you move into another player's area like we have here, you're going to have a combat between the pigs that are there and your pigs and farmer that have moved in. So for in this example, it's 1 pig and a farmer versus a yellow pig. And what's going to happen here is that the players are going to calculate their total combat value after rolling a growl die. So each player would roll the die, and we'll say green got a 6 and yellow got a 2. Well, it's not going to look good for yellow here. But green is going to add 1 for it being their first attack in this area of a round. That's 7. They're also going to add 1 for their farmer being present. That's an 8. Plus 1 for the pig that's there is 9. Our player here rolled a 2, and they don't have a farmer. It's not their attack, so they're going to add 1 for their pig, which is a 3. And in this case, the yellow pig is going to die. And our yellow player would lose 1 love on their pig's happiness tracks. So this would go back to their supply. In addition, now that green has won, they're going to get to choose 1 resource, 1 gold, or 1 random card from the yellow player to take. They've kind of eliminated the yellow player from this area, they've gained an area that they control, and they've gotten a resource from another player. So all good. If there's a combat in someone else's farm that is won by the attacking player, you're going to get an even bigger reward. You'll get a combination of 3 resources, 3 gold, or 3 cards which you can see from the player's hand in order to take from them. In addition, taking over another player's farm by eliminating their pigs and their farmer on that area is going to give you a victory point at the end of the game, but you can only do this to each player 1 time. At the end of a player's turn, after they've taken their 2 standard actions and as many basic actions as they want, that player is going to get 1 bonus resource, simply their farm producing a resource, and they're going to gain 1 gold for each uncontested land they control. In this case, 2 for the green player, after this turn, which of course has taken more actions than it should, but you get the idea of the gameplay. Then you're going to progress on to the next player in turn order until each player has taken 1 turn in a season. At the end of that season, you'll move on to the next season, so we'd move on to summer. In summer, there's a couple of different bonuses, so each season has its own bonuses. And in summer, you're going to go ahead and you're going to draw up to your maximum or your starting number of cards in your hand. So in spring, you're probably going to want to play a lot of your action cards so that you can draw cards at the start of your next summer phase. In addition, at the end of the summer turn, you're going to get 2 resources instead of the normal 1, and you're going to get 1 gold for each uncontested land as normal. In the fall, you're going to have a little bit of a different thing. In the fall, the markets are going to reset automatically. In addition, in the fall, you're allowed to trade resources with other players on your turn. So if you think that there's a beneficial trade for both you and another player at the table, you can offer it when it's your turn in order to hopefully accomplish goals for both of you, but somehow put you in the lead. Finally, in the winter, there is one more season, and then you'd start a new year. But during winter, each player at the end of their turn is going to have to feed their pigs on the table. And one food will provide 2 pigs with nourishment. For each pig you can't feed, you're going to have to take them off of the board, and of course you'll lose a love, which is bad. Finally, at the end of the year, the mayor is going to award a bonus to the player who has the most money, and that player would get 1 award. So, essentially, you're going to get an award if you have the most money, but as a payment for that, you must give up all of your money. You may pass on this in order to not take it, keep your gold, but then it goes to the player with the second most money, and so forth and so on. They may pass and goes to the player with the third most money. And that player will get an award, moving them closer to ending the game. At the end of the game, which is when one player manages to get enough awards to end the game, and through the end of that season, you're going to get victory points based on what you've accomplished throughout the game. The first player to get to the maximum number of awards needed to end the game is going to get a bonus 1 victory point. In addition, you're going to get 1 victory point for each of the awards you've collected throughout the game, which makes perfect sense. On top of that, you're going to get 1 VP for every 3 pigs you have, 1 VP for every controlled land you have. You're going to get 1 VP for every 2 farm upgrades you have on your farm, 1 VP for every 5 resources you have, 1 VP for every 7 gold you have, and of course you'll get 1 VP for each time you manage to successfully invade an opponent's farm. From that, whoever has managed to accumulate the most VP by best managing their pigs' feelings, buying and selling to the market, slaughtering off their pigs in order to get resources, and accomplishing goals will be the winner. Well, there you have it. That is Pig Farmer, a game for anywhere between 2 and 4 players that plays relatively quickly and has a lot of options. As you saw, you have 5 or 6 different standard actions as well as all of the basic or free actions you can take on your turn. You can focus on buying and trading at the market in order to get your resources and accomplishing your goals that way. Maybe you want to take an offensive strategy and go after other players' farms in order to earn victory points. Maybe you don't like a goal that's on the table because you think someone else is getting close to accomplishing it. So you decide to switch it out just kind of to screw them over a little bit and delay them ending the game because you don't have enough victory points. Maybe you slaughter your pigs rather than using them for the offensive because you want to get resources and trade those in for that goal. There's all types of things you can do in this game. All of them are viable options, so you can definitely check all of those out. If this sounds good to you, definitely check out their Kickstarter. I know they're looking for pledges and would appreciate your support.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.